You're an adult. You know monsters aren't real. You know there's nothing under the bed. You know the dark room at the end of the hallway is exactly the same room it was an hour ago with the lights on. And yet, something happens when the lights go out. Your breathing changes, your body tenses, you move a little faster through the dark. You don't talk about it. You'd feel ridiculous. But it's there. It has always been there. And it turns out it's not a weakness. It's one of the oldest and most sophisticated survival systems the human brain has ever built. The fear of darkness kept your ancestors alive for 300,000 years. The fact that you still feel it means it worked. To understand why we fear the dark, you have to understand what the dark actually was for most of human history. Not inconvenient, not eerie, lethal. Our eyes are among the worst in the animal kingdom for low light conditions. A leopard's eyes are 6 times more sensitive to light than yours. A hyena can see clearly on a moonless night. An owl can hunt in near total darkness. You cannot. On the African savanna, where our species spent most of its existence, the moment the sun went down, the predators came out, and they could see you perfectly. You couldn't see them at all. The humans who felt no fear in the dark were the ones who wandered away from the fire at night. They didn't survive long enough to pass that fearlessness on. The ones who felt unease, who stayed close to the group, who listened for sounds in the dark, they lived. Fear of darkness is not a flaw in human psychology. It's a feature that was selected for over millions of years. The anxious ones survived. We are their descendants. But the fear of darkness isn't just about predators, it goes deeper than that. Neuroscientists have found that darkness triggers a specific response in the human brain that's distinct from other types of fear. When you enter a dark environment, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, activates immediately. It doesn't wait for evidence of danger, it assumes danger. Because for most of human history, that assumption was correct. Your pupils dilate, your hearing sharpens, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, your heart rate increases. All of this happens before you're consciously aware of feeling afraid. The fear arrives before the thought. That's how old it is. Researchers at Harvard found something fascinating. Humans are not actually afraid of darkness itself. We're afraid of what might be in it. Specifically, we're afraid of things that can see us when we can't see them. It's not the absence of light that triggers the fear, it's the loss of visual control. The moment you can't scan your environment, your brain treats it as an emergency. This is why darkness appears in the mythology of virtually every culture on Earth. Not as an inconvenience, or one as a force. In ancient Mesopotamia, the underworld was described as a place of eternal darkness. In Norse mythology, the worst realm of the dead, Niflheim, was a world of cold and darkness. In Egyptian cosmology, the sun god Ra had to fight his way through 12 hours of darkness every single night just to rise again in the morning. The Egyptians weren't being poetic. They were describing, in the language of myth, something their bodies told them every night was true. Darkness is where things go to die. Even the Christian concept of hell is described in the Bible as outer darkness, not fire. Darkness. Because for the people writing those texts, darkness was the most viscerally terrifying thing they could imagine. Children are more afraid of the dark than adults, and for a long time scientists assumed this was simply immaturity, that children hadn't yet learned to reason their way past irrational fears. But recent research suggests something different. Children between the ages of 2 and 8 show the highest sensitivity to darkness of any age group. This peaks right at the age when, for most of human history, a child would be old enough to wander away from camp, but not yet strong enough to defend themselves. The fear spikes exactly when the danger would have been highest. It's not immaturity, it's calibration. As we grow, the rational brain gets better at overriding the signal, but it never eliminates it. It just learns to suppress it. The alarm is still going off. We just get better at ignoring it. And then electric light arrived. In less than a century, we went from living in near total darkness at night to flooding every corner of our world with light. Street lamps, phone screens, LED strips under the bed. We have engineered darkness almost entirely out of modern life. And it hasn't made the fear go away. If anything, it's made it stranger, because now we encounter real darkness so rarely that when we do, a power outage, a camping trip, a dark hallway, the reaction is even more intense. The brain that was trained over millions of years to treat darkness as a threat hasn't updated its programming. It just hasn't had much practice managing the signal. Studies show that people in highly urbanized areas, who almost never experience true darkness, report higher levels of nyctophobia, fear of the dark, than people in rural areas who encounter it regularly. The more we avoid the dark, the more we fear it. Exposure is the only thing that teaches the brain to stand down. So here's what we know. The fear of darkness is not irrational. It is not childish. It is not a disorder. It is a precisely engineered response to a real and deadly threat that existed for millions of years. It saved your ancestors' lives so many times that it became written into the structure of the brain itself. You inherited it the same way you inherited your eyes and your hands. It is part of what you are. The next time the lights go out and something in you tightens, that's not weakness. That's 3 million years of survival instinct doing exactly what it was designed to do. The world changed faster than evolution could follow. The predators are gone. The darkness is safe. But the ancient part of your brain that kept your ancestors alive every single night hasn't gotten the memo yet, and maybe it never will.